For 10 years, he fought demons without rest and became a legend on the battlefield. But when he finally returned, he appeared as a 14-year-old boy. Everyone saw a child. But hidden inside him was the power of a warrior who had survived a decade of war. And the moment those powers were revealed, the world realized this was no ordinary teenager. The story opened with the main character named Luck, who was fighting in a dungeon with his two teammates, Goran and Eric, against the demons. That world was filled with countless demons, and Luck's team had to fight against them to save humanity. At that time, the three of them killed many demons with their powers, and were happy about returning to their families, as they had been there for many days, and had now killed all the demons. Because of this, Eric and Goran told Luck to consider marrying a girl, as marriage was very important in life. But Luck stopped them by saying that he had no need to marry. During their conversation, they suddenly saw a massive horde of demons in front of them, moving towards them too many to count. Seeing all of them, Luck knew that if all three of them fought, none of them would remain alive. So he made a decision, and told his friends to go back to their families while he fought the demons alone. But Eric and Goran did not agree. They told him they should fight together. However, Luck did not want his friends to die, so he quickly created a stone wall between himself and his friends so that they could save their lives. After this, Luck started fighting with the demons, who were extremely powerful. But he did not stop and killed countless demons alone in the dungeon. During that time, many days and months passed as he fought non-stop. Then, after killing all the demons, Luck saw the general of the demons standing before him and started fighting her. Luck had the ability to absorb anyone's power, so he quickly used his magical power, as his rank was S rank. Using his ability, he absorbed all the power of the demon general and healed his body, because after non-stop fighting he had felt great weakness. By absorbing the demon general's power, he healed himself and then started fighting again. In this way, he spent 10 years in the dungeon, fighting non-stop. Finally, he saw the demon Lord King standing before him, who was far more powerful than any enemy he had faced before. Luck tried to absorb his power into his body, but this king was too powerful and started fighting Luck fiercely. During the fight, the king injured Luck very badly, but in the end, Luck used his power and began absorbing the king's power into his body. The process was not easy, as the king was too powerful and it was very difficult for Luck to control that energy. Then, a massive explosion occurred. When Luck woke up, his entire body had transformed into that of a 14-year-old boy. He did not know about this change. He picked up the sword of the Demon King and exited the dungeon, only to find that the whole world had changed. Luck followed the road and eventually reached a city where his only mission was to find Goran and Eric. When he entered the city, his clothes were extremely dirty, so a guard gave him new clothes and told him to hide his sword beneath them. He then reached the middle of the city, where everyone was cheerful and going about their daily work. While walking, Luck suddenly noticed a statue in the middle of the market and was shocked to see it, as he knew it had not been there before. He also wanted to know who it was. He asked a man nearby, who told him that it was the statue of their great hero, Luck, the one who had fought alone against the demons in the dungeon and sacrificed himself for the safety of the people. Upon hearing this, Luck was stunned, because he was alive, and no one recognized him due to his 14-year-old face, which made him look like a child. He then went inside the Adventurer Guild office to join as a hunter. There, he met Goran, who quickly sensed that this was his friend Luck and was overjoyed to see him alive. Goran took him with him to a private room, gave him food to eat, and called Eric, who arrived within minutes. Both of them were incredibly happy to see Luck standing before them, knowing their friend was alive. However, they were shocked by his appearance, as he looked so young. When Luck heard their reaction and looked at himself in a mirror, he was stunned. He then realized that this had happened during the time when he absorbed the Demon King's power in the dungeon. His body had transformed into this form as a result. Upon hearing this, Eric was astonished, because Luck had killed the Demon King alone, which meant there was no longer any need to fear the demons. He decided to give Luck a great reward and wanted to attach a title of bravery to his name. By that time, Eric had become the king of the city and Goran was the master of the Adventurer Guild. But Luck did not want any of this. He told his friends that he wanted to live this life from the beginning. He said he would not reveal his true S-rank power, and would instead start at F rank in the guild. Eric and Goran agreed and created an Adventurer Guild card for Luck. On Luck's request, they changed his name on the card from Luck to Locke. From that point forward, the main character's name was Locke. After receiving the guild card, Locke quickly went inside the Adventurer Guild office and handed his card to the receptionist girl, Aron. He told her he wanted to go to the goblin area to kill them, but she did not agree, as it was not easy for an F-rank hunter to fight goblins. Just then, a girl named Ginny and her brother Ario came forward, and told Aron that they would work as a team. Aron agreed, stamped the guild paper, and the three of them set out on their journey toward the goblin area. Locke thought that he could train them to become skilled fighters during the mission. They eventually reached the dungeon where the goblins were present and began killing them. Locke used his sword, Ginny used a bow and arrows, and Ario used his fire power. After killing a large number of goblins, Ginny and Ario grew exhausted and told Locke they wanted to go back. At that moment, the Goblin King appeared and they hid themselves. But then, a girl appeared in front of the Goblin King and started fighting him. If you love binge watching anime recaps without the boring filler, hit that subscribe button right now and join the AniJinwoo universe. Locke was shocked to see her and wondered who she was, because she fought with the goblin very strongly, and her speed was remarkably quick. However, the goblin was not weak either. He also fought back with his best effort. In the middle of the battle, she injured him with her sword. Seeing this, Locke quickly told his teammates to go outside so they could save their lives, because he noticed that the Goblin King was very strong. Because of this, Ario and Ginny quickly left the place and went outside, but Locke did not go outside with them. Instead, he stepped in front of her and watched her fight. She told him to go outside, but Locke said that if she needed help, she should call him. However, she thought herself too powerful and did not know anything about Locke. During the fight, the Goblin King broke her sword with full strength. Locke again asked her what he could do, but she stopped him, took out her other sword, and started fighting again. However, this time the goblin threw her sword away, and was close to killing her. At that moment, Locke appeared and cut the Goblin King into 2 pieces with his sword, which shocked the girl as well. She wondered who this boy was who killed the Goblin King so easily. Locke shocked her even further by saying that he was an F-rank hunter. She did not believe him, but his card revealed the truth that Locke was indeed an F-rank hunter. She then thanked him for saving her life and told him her name, which was Sia. Locke was very happy to have helped her. He then noticed another path leading deeper into the dungeon and wanted to go there, but Sia stopped him and told him that inside lived a very powerful and strong vampire king, and warned him not to go inside. Locke, however, wanted to fight him, and Sia did not believe that an F-rank hunter would not be afraid of the vampire king. She then told him the story of her past. She had lived in a village where her father was the leader. One day, the vampire king attacked their village and killed many people. Her father fought him but was defeated because the vampire king was too powerful. From that time on, no one respected their village because of that defeat. She wanted to go inside with Locke, so that if they killed the vampire king together, she could restore the respect of her village. Locke agreed. Before going inside, he gave Sia the sword he had taken after killing the demon. They both went inside the dungeon and finally saw the vampire king, who sat at the top of a throne of skulls. His surroundings were filled with many skulls. He laughed when he saw Sia and told her that he would kill her first, and then make the boy his slave, because he had the ability to take control of people's minds. He also appeared to be a very strong and deadly being. The vampire king used his power and took control of Locke's mind. He then asked Sia whether she would like to see the boy kill her or whether he himself would do it, because Locke walked towards the vampire king on his order. But in the middle of it all, Locke suddenly attacked the vampire king badly and shocked him greatly, as the vampire king could not understand why his magic had no effect on Locke. They both started fighting each other. Locke used his magical power and injured the vampire king as well. Finally, Locke used his most powerful spell and attacked the vampire king so badly that the king was near death. The vampire king suddenly moved to another place using his power so that he could heal himself. But at that moment, Sia used her sword and cut him into 2 pieces. The vampire king died within seconds at their hands. Sia was very happy that she could now restore the pride of her village. Before leaving, she took the cursed medallion coin that came out of the demon's body. Locke did not know about it, so she told him that the medallion was a very powerful weapon, and that if one vampire king died, many others would come out from the dimensional rift. Locke quickly cut the rift with his sword, and all the curses from the medallion were absorbed into it, because the sword was also a demon king's sword that he had taken from the dimensional rift. No one knew that no demon had come out from that dimension because he had already killed all of them by fighting inside it for 10 years. He told this to the vampire king as well, and the vampire king became shocked. He then recognized that Locke was the great hunter Luck, but before he could say anything more, Locke killed him. They then headed outside. On the way, when Sia called him by his original name, Luck, Locke behaved normally, and in that moment, his secret was revealed in front of Sia. He told her to keep it a secret and not to tell anyone that he was Luck, and asked her to call him Locke in front of others. After that, they came outside and reached the Hunter Guild office, where Locke sold all the goblin gems and shocked everyone there, as no one could understand how an F-rank hunter team had managed to do this. Ginny and Ario then went home and told Locke that they wanted to work with him next time. Sia also thanked Locke for killing the Vampire King. She took one piece of the medallion and gave the other piece to Locke so that he could show it to the guild master, Garen. Before leaving, Locke asked Sia if she could tell him more about the demons and vampires, but she did not know any more at that moment. She told him that she would go to her village the next day, gather all the information about the demons and vampires, and then share everything with him. The next day, Locke went to Garen's house and shocked him as well by showing him the medallion piece, so that Garen could investigate it and find out what it could do. Garen also thanked Locke for saving his guild members, Ginny and Ario. However, all of their conversation was secretly heard by Garen's daughter, who wanted to join the Adventurer Guild too. But Garen did not want that for her. So, he told Locke that if his daughter ever joined the guild in the future, Locke should keep an eye on her. But when Locke tried to talk with her at the dining table, she became angry and thought that Locke was her father's illegitimate son, which shocked Locke greatly.